Hey Mark, how you doing? All right, thank you for submitting this, and thank you for being the first to submit, as you usually are. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but thank you. You've been consistent and submitting your work first throughout the entirety of the class, and I really do. I appreciate that, Mark. It takes guts to throw your work up first, and allow others to kind of follow that lead. So I appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at the work. Now, we're studying typography, right? And it seems to me that you have a pretty good idea of the rules of typography that we've been studying. But this class is so unique in that we're studying many other things. And that really, when you think about it, that's how design should be studied. We shouldn't just study typography and put everything aside. That's the beauty of this class, is that we're studying typography, but we're also studying meaning. We're studying sign and symbol. We're studying connotations, denotations. We're studying the message. And that's how design should be taught, and that's how design should be learned. So this is just a fantastic class in that regard. But the downside of that is that it makes it extremely difficult to keep track of all of these things that we're learning. So what I want to do is I want to run some things by you, and we'll talk about typography along the way. All right, so I got the back of the poster, at the front of the poster. Now, in terms of, there's a few things I want you to think about here. Okay, so for consistency, we've got this beautiful kind of vignette, kind of shadow on the front of the poster. We don't have it on the back of the poster. So really, think about consistency there. It might be wise to use the exact same background, specifically, not the peace sign, but the color and that kind of shadow vignette. The next thing is the color, Mark. All right, so we're talking about peace. We've got peace signs. We're talking about peace. However, we're using red. Red is a very aggressive color that's not typically associated with peace. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially when you present red with black. If you study color theory, specifically the combination of colors, quite often you'll see that the combination of red and black indicates aggression. So for that reason, I'm not real sure that the red background is sending the right message. Now, red is a tough color. Color theory in general is tough because in different cultures and in different facets of the same culture, red can mean different things. For example, red quite often means aggression or danger, but it also is the color of love. The point I'm trying to make is red is not typically a color that's associated with calm and peace. Okay, so think about that. Next thing I want to talk about is this typeface. I was going to get into this last week, but now your idea of wanting to kind of give this indication that the typewriter type, indicating that that was how a lot of the news was spread in Kissinger's day, and I like that idea. I think it's an interesting idea. The problem I'm having is this typeface here is so distressed. It's no longer really representing or symbolic of a typewriter typeface. It's more of a really distressed, fragmented typeface that's basically disintegrating and falling apart right in front of us. Because we talked about the connotation of color. What's the connotation behind that? I mean, it's not a strong typeface. It's falling apart. And is that something that is indicative of Kissinger's message as the officer of peace, or how the brink of peace? Do you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem to be real solid. Now, if I had mentioned last week, if you want to use that typewriter typeface, I would recommend using a typewriter typeface that does have a little bit of distress in it. But I think this just has a lot of distress to the point where it's sending mixed signals in terms of the stability and the foundational underpinning of Kissinger's message. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The background peace sign itself, I think, is redundant. I think that including the peace sign in that the counter of the G is fine, but this is a little redundant, including it twice. The viewer will get it. As a matter of fact, I think it would be interesting to keep it confined to that small area right there, because then we can take that notion right there and turn it around and use it on the background. I'll explain what I mean in 1 second there. But so those are my comments on the front. Now, the back of the poster, again, think about connotation, okay? Now, as Kissinger, as you're saying, is a representative of peace, all right? So we're drawing this meaning that Kissinger has this close association with peace, right? By the way, the brink of peace right here, I would pull that over a little bit. You don't have to go all the way to the end of that arrow, but right about there somewhere, maybe where that serif ends, so we'll get that in nice alignment. Right now it's a little out of alignment. Anyway, so we take the peace sign, right, and we kind of establish this relationship between peace and Kissinger on the front of the poster. However, in the back, and I'm going to let you answer the question yourself, what is the connotation of a broken peace sign? I mean, the connotation is, I think it's pretty much broken peace, fragmented, shattered peace, and that's not what Kissinger stood for, right? So this broken peace sign, I think, is sending the wrong connotation. Okay, for that reason, I would not recommend splitting that peace sign. What I would recommend doing is this. So you've got this little peace sign here, and you've got this horizontal rule. We can use those. All right, so try this. We take this horizontal rule, duplicate it on the back of the poster in the same location, all right, and use it as your timeline. So the timeline could look like this. You've got this horizontal rule. You have a little vertical line coming up, okay? Top of the vertical line is a little tiny peace sign, right? And then next to that is the event, okay? Then down here, the year and the event. Right, so little vertical line coming up, little peace sign there, then the year and the event. Okay, then down here, little peace sign here, the year, the event. The next event up here, year, event. Down here, peace sign, year, event. And that's on the back of the poster, right? So you're drawing these. You're preserving this message of peace through the T-plot, peace through the timeline, but you're also preserving some of the visual signals established on the front of the poster, okay? And I think that's going to be an interesting way to go. I really do. And then that would leave really the rest of this top of this poster to present your biography and show your image. Now, yes, I am asking you to recompose, and I think that my reasoning is pretty solid. I think you'll agree with that. But the one thing I also would like to mention about the back of the poster itself is that you're really not allowing any negative space at all. I mean, you've got everything pushed to the corners, and there's just no breathing associated. You're not really allowing the viewer a chance to stop and breathe. So this is really daunting to look at. It almost looks like it's a task to go through this because there's no, think of negative space as a rest area. Okay, and viewers, that's how viewers look at negative space, as a rest area. Okay, my final suggestion is to think about using old style numerals instead of italic here. Just think about using old style numerals for your presentation of your, also that 20K, old style numerals for the 20, and a small cap for the K. Okay, old style for 64. Then down here, since you've got that red on that black, just remember what our rules are for reversed type, and that is to increase the tracking to allow a little bit of room between those letter forms, which some of them look like they're very, very close, impeding readability. And it's kind of difficult to read right from here. So I think increasing the tracking there is in order. All right, sorry for taking so long, almost 9 minutes. Didn't mean to do that, but I wanted to be as thorough as possible. And again, thank you for kicking things off and also for including the front of your poster. I had created a little note here in a bold typeface just to allow the rest of the students to know that that's a great formula right there, including the front along with the back. All right, Mark, thank you very much. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much.